Welcome in, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with me on a Friday night. Just like we had a conversation on Wednesday with Anthony, I'm going to follow up and use this episode tonight to open your eyes about where everything is heading in the space of AI, technology, and business. I know it doesn't sound exciting, but I'm going to do everything I can over the next 20 or so minutes to help you guys understand exactly what AI looks like today, what the threats, the dangers, the opportunities look like, and help you decide what the best move forward is. Pull up a chair. If you have the time, if you have the focus, bring it here because I guarantee no other use of your time or dollar worth of your time is going to be more valuable. It's just me tonight. There's no co-host, right? There's not Anthony here, just me, my protein drink right here, and some stuff I honestly have to get off my chest. Most of this too is because I've just been sitting here all week and I can't really hold it anymore, especially after Wednesday's episode. Welcome to the Ascended Podcast. If you guys are new here, this is the show where we talk about stuff nobody else wants to say out loud. We're not here to be comfortable. We're here to be honest. And tonight, we're going to go deep. I'm talking about AI, of course, but not the way everybody else talks about it. Not the, oh, this is cool, look, it can make images now type of cool. Not that type of conversation. No. We're talking about what's actually happening in the scenes behind the curtain. Because what's happening in March of 2026 is one of the biggest wealth transfers and power grabs in human history. Most people, most of you watching tonight are simply sleepwalking through it, and whether or not you realize it, it's already occurring. So tonight, I have 4 things I want to talk to you about. 4 things that once you see them, you can't unsee them. And at the end of this, you're either going to be pissed off, fired up, or probably, in my opinion, both. Hopefully, both. So let's start. The 45,000 lie. What does that mean? So you guys know Cash App, right? Square, Jack Dorsey's company, right? They made a company called Block. This company, Block, as kind of the member of the Cash App family, they laid off a huge chunk of their workforce recently. And the reason that this happened was almost undoubtedly AI. We're replacing roles with AI. That was the official line handed out to the employees. And the media ran with it, right? AI is taking over. It's throwing people out of the workforce, headline after headline. And that isn't new information, right? In 2026, we've seen thousands of people lose their jobs, their primary employment, their life and livelihood to AI. And these massive companies seem to not give a damn. But here's what they didn't tell you about this situation. A lot of these jobs, they weren't replaced by AI. They were just gone. Cost cutting dressed up as innovation. Someone called it the great AI washing of corporate America. And that phrase, honestly, is perfect because that's exactly what this is. Companies are using AI as a sort of buzzword. It's kind of a shield, right, to justify decisions that are really, we're going to be there from the start. And a lot of this is really just about profit margins. They're not building some revolutionary AI system that does the job better today. That's not what's happening most of the time. They're just firing people and slapping the word AI on the press release because Wall Street loves it and it helps margins, right? Stocks go up. Nobody asks questions. CNN literally ran a piece on March 2nd, right, about a week ago, just over a week ago, saying AI is causing a jobs apocalypse. That was their term. And they're right about the yet part, right? Because here's the thing nobody talks about. It's not the AI that can do the jobs. It's not just really that fact alone. It absolutely could do the job. The problem is, more importantly, who controls the AI that's doing them? Because it's usually not the actual company. Think about it, right? When a company replaces you with AI, where does your expertise go? Where does your knowledge of the job go? It goes into their system, the files you completed, the reports you've generated. Their proprietary model is trained on your years of experience, your institutional knowledge, right? It's becoming their intellectual property. You're trained by the AI, right? And you trained it by doing your job every day. And then they used your training, right? They're encouraging you to push AI out. And that's the exact thing that's coming back to make you obsolete. It's happening in a lot of enterprises, right? The military is participating in that too right now. That's not innovation. That's just essentially stealing labor with extra steps. And that's exactly why I built Nova. Because the way I see it, AI shouldn't be a weapon that corporations use against you. It should really just be a tool that works for you, right? Nova doesn't take your job. It just makes you too valuable to replace. That's the difference. Understand that, right? When you have AI on your side, right? When you were an employee using ChatGPT, right? For whatever it was on your device, when you have Nova now working with your data and remembering things 100 times better than ChatGPT ever could. So it's personalized and it remembers the way you work. It remembers the shortcuts you take. You're not the one getting replaced. You are the one who's irreplaceable because you team up with the AI to solve problems at a much greater rate that's still applicable to human labor. But for these companies, right, they don't want you to have that. They want you dependent. They want your skills, but they don't want your control. They want you using their tools, right, feeding their models so they can turn around and sell your output back to you as a subscription. Let that sit for a second. You are training the AI that you will someday buy for $20 a month or whatever it is to come in and use to hopefully find a job after it's taken yours. And you're okay paying that money? Section 2, right? Your DMs are the product, and I really believe that. So while everyone was distracted by these layoff headlines, something else was happening that should really terrify you. And I think I mean this literally. LinkedIn, Microsoft's LinkedIn, got caught training their AI on users' private messages. Not their public posts, not your profile, your private DMs, your intimate chats. The Suffolk University Journal of High Technology Law literally published a piece on this. It was directly called LinkedIn Under Fire for Sharing Private Messages to Train AI. It's about as straightforward as it gets. Think about that, guys. You're messaging a recruiter about a job, about what you're going to do, hopefully, for the rest of your life. You're negotiating your salary. You're venting about your boss. You're sharing confidential company information that you think is in a private conversation. And LinkedIn is just feeding all of that into an AI model. And it's not just LinkedIn. Canada launched a full investigation into X, which is Elon Musk's platform, for using Canadians' personal data to train their AI models without any consent. That's not just a rumor. That is an official government investigation. You guys can check it now on the internet. Go ahead and look it up. And then you got another one, right? OpenAI, ChatGPT. They just got hit with yet again another privacy complaint in Europe because their AI is literally hallucinating, which just means making up, right? Defamatory information about real people. It's literally throwing important people under the bus with stuff that they've never done. It's making up lies about real humans and presenting them to other users as facts. And they're making business decisions on that, right? Who to partner with, who to make money with, right? Things like that. And all of this is built on data that they scraped from people who never agreed to any of it. They were just told they didn't have a choice if they wanted to use ChatGPT. So let me paint the picture for you. You're at work, right? You're using their free AI tools, thinking that you're being productive. But what's actually been happening here for the last probably year or so is your prompts logged, right? Your company that releases its AI for you to use, it's recording everything you're putting into it. Your conversations are stored. Your writing style is captured. Your business strategies are also absorbed. Nothing escapes this black hole. You are literally training the system that will be sold directly to your competitor or used to train the AI that takes your position. And then you're going to look confused when you get fired out of nowhere. They say we don't need you in this career field anymore. Or package, right, this AI into a data set that some hedge fund buys to predict market behavior. And you can't outthink it because it knows you better than you know yourself. This is Black Mirror stuff, guys. You're not the customer. You're not even the product anymore. You're the raw material. You are the energy, really, that it's needing to input. That's why Nova, which is our AI, is built different. And I'm not just saying that, right? Nova runs on your device. Your data, no Microsoft, no Amazon, right? It stays your data. We don't harvest it. We're not selling it to other companies to train on it. We're not making money externally from your data. That should be common sense. The moment your AI tool is monetizing your output and your input, it's not your tool anymore. It's theirs, and you're just working for free. I'll say up front, right? The only thing we will use your data for is we'll, from a higher, right, holistic level, look at the patterns of chat inputs and outputs and use that to train to make sure Nova's personality stays the same. We're not taking your chats, writing them down on a piece of paper, sending them to Google to figure out how to sell you ads, and then laughing in your face as we make money. That's what these other companies are doing that I simply refuse to ever put us in the position of looking like that bad guy. That's just not right. And it shouldn't be something we have to deal with nowadays. It's theirs, right? Like that is all of their schemes, their tactics, and you guys are working it, right? And you're giving it in the power for free. That free word really just means you're the customer. And rather than giving, yourself to a company for free, why not pay, our $8 subscription, right? That's the minimum subscription you can get for the unlimited chat, the unlimited voice, all the stuff you're used to, and your data stays yours. I would pay $8 for safety and freedom that my business ideas, my thoughts, my patterns are going to remain mine the rest of my life. That is the best insurance you're ever going to have, because once your brain is essentially cloned by an AI thinking in the way you're thinking, you can't get that back. You'd have to be born again and raised completely differently. And none of us really have the time or energy to do that. So go to usenova.live, usenova.live. It's going to drop on the App Store here very shortly. Just look at how it works. The architecture is fundamentally different because the philosophy behind the app is fundamentally different. And you're going to pick that up right away. Section 3, the digital caste system. We need to zoom out because everything I just said, the layoffs, right, the data harvesting that we mentioned, it's all symptoms of a bigger disease. And the disease is this. AI's continuing to create a class system that nobody's really talking about, but everybody knows that it's there. Here's what I mean. Right now, if you're in a Fortune 500 company, right, you have access to custom AI models. A lot of these have been provided by your companies. Private instances, dedicated compute, AI that's trained specifically on your industry, your data, your workload, your competitors' landscapes. Almost anybody in corporate America right now watching this has some sort of AI tool that is built for them to use for their job. Goldman Sachs isn't using ChatGPT's free tier. They got custom models that will blow the hell out of your mind. But, right, if you're a small business owner, right, a freelancer, a creator, a student, you guys get the scraps. You get the free tier with the watered down model that's been lobotomized, so it won't say anything controversial or help you really break out of this system. You get rate limited. You get paywalled. You get the version that's watching every single keystroke you type or revealing fact that you give it and selling it to train the premium version that you just can't afford. That's the digital caste system. And it's not coming. It's not some future. It's already here. And it's working as you type messages tonight. You're being spied on. The gap between what the elite have access to and what regular people have access to is getting wider every single day. And it's not an accident. It's 100% by design. Because if anybody had the same AI power, the playing field would be level. And they don't want that. And a level playing field is the last thing that will affect their ability to be at risk. You know what changed my perspective on all this stuff, guys? I was sitting there just, one night just looking at what all these enterprise AI tools could do versus what the regular, consumer people paying the $20 a month were getting. And I thought, this is wrong. This is fundamentally and morally wrong. Why should a hedge fund manager have an AI that can analyze the market in real time, but a single mom trying to run an Etsy shop gets a chatbot that can barely write a product description without hitting a wall and follows the famous, "You got this, I think you're 100% right all the time" format that feels like it makes us want to just pull the plug on it? That's not technology serving humanity. That's technology serving the same people that it's always served. And I think you guys know that. In that moment, right? And that was the moment I decided I'm not going to complain about this. I look like it right now, but that's only because I've done something. I'm going to build the solution. And I did. That's Nova. That's what Nova is. It's not another chatbot. It's not ChatGPT 3.0, right? It's another Silicon Valley toy. It's not what everything else is. It's an equalizer. When I say ascend, I don't just mean the Ascended podcast. I don't just mean leveling up. I mean the whole mission. Giving people tools, bringing people from a state of being to a higher one that was really never meant for them. AI that's smart enough to compete with all of the enterprise stuff, but built for the people who actually really need it. Not a corporate slave that's just going to waste their time adding, GDP value to their company, basically. Nova gives you the same caliber of AI that these corporations are paying millions or billions of dollars for on your terms, with your data staying yours, with no leaks. I'm not interested in building the next, billion-dollar AI company that exploits people. There's too many of those out there. I've learned enough from my service, and I would say that putting the mission first, putting the people first is always how you get to the front, regardless, right? And nobody needs billions of dollars. I'm interested in building the thing that makes exploitation obsolete. And if you're going to have money, if you're going to build a business that's successful, the only way that's justified is if you actually are acting and improving the lives of people beneath you in the process. It's the only lesson we should be taking away from this. And I think all of the AI CEOs out there, I would say for the majority of them, they're doing a terrible job. They're doing great at making money. They're doing bad at being human beings. And, guys, real quick before I close, I think it's important. I think we should talk about this Ghibli thing, right? If you were on the internet last week, you saw it, right? ChatGPT rolled out this image generation where you can make yourself look like a Studio Ghibli character. I think that's how you spell it. Ghibli. Like an anime style from Spirited Away, right? My Neighbor Totoro, all that stuff, right? And it went absolutely viral. Record usage, right? Everyone and their grandmother was using it. And look, I'm not going to lie, right? ChatGPT is pretty cool. Some of them are fire. The art was absolutely beautiful. But here's what nobody stops to think about when they use these AI generation tools, these AI adapters, things like that. You just uploaded your face, your actual, biometric data to OpenAI servers willingly, happily. You literally gave them a high resolution photo of yourself to help it train better and said, here, train on this. And Studio Ghibli, right? They didn't consent to this either. Their art style, their decades of work, scraped from ChatGPT and replicated without permission. Hayao Miyazaki, I think that's how you say his name, right? He said from Ghibli Studio that art and AI art is, quote, an insult to life itself. Because it's not real. And OpenAI it pisses me off. They used his studio's entire aesthetic to drive record signups, something this man had spent his entire life building. That's wrong. ChatGPT, you are wrong. So in one viral moment, right? To share to the world something cool, right? They got your face and someone else's life's work for free. And people, you guys, most of you idiots on the other side, thanked him for it. They thanked ChatGPT for it, for Studio Ghibli's work. This is what I mean when I say people are fucking asleep. We're so distracted by the cool trick that we don't see the game being played. It's a magic show. Look at this shiny thing, guys. Well, they pick your pocket on the other side with the other arm. Nova doesn't do that. Altura and our products, we are not doing that. It's all based on real world value, not fake shit. When Nova generates something in the chat, it's not because we scrape some artist's life work. And when we use Nova, when you guys participate, when you use the chat, your face doesn't end up in a training data set. Period. All right. That was a lot. I know. And it's frustrating, right? I hope you guys are feeling what I'm feeling on this right now, just because it's invigorating, right? It's a combination of pissed off and motivated. Because again, here's the thing, right? The awareness without action is just entertainment. And I'm not here to entertain you guys. I'm here to wake you up, because somebody needs to. And I need to give you somewhere to go. Everything I talked about tonight, the layoffs, the data harvesting, the class divide, viral distractions, they all have one thing in common. I think you know what it is. These exist because regular people don't have their own tool. We are victims of whatever ChatGPT throws us as scraps while they make billion-dollar partnerships with companies to keep technology out of your hands and to oppress you, quite literally just oppressing you. They're forced to use tools that are designed to extract from you, to scan your data, scan your fingerprints, listen to your conversations, listen and spy on the room you're in, not to empower you. That's what we're changing. That's why Nova had to be what it is. That's why I had to invest, as much of my income as I can to try to get Nova off the ground, to build something that wasn't controlled by billionaires. That's what we're doing. Go to usenova.live. It's not great right now. We need a lot of training. We need your help training the model to make it better. I'm not asking you guys to buy anything. You can use Nova for free. I'm asking you to just look at it. That's it. Understand what it does. Understand why it's built the way it's built. Understand how it works and how it can actually execute tasks on the internet. You can tell it to book a haircut or book me around a golf this weekend, and it'll actually go out and do that for you. Because once you see the difference in AI that works for you, which is already a technology that exists, versus AI that works on you, you can't go back. And I think you will permanently cancel ChatGPT, Grok, Claude, whatever it is. If this episode hit for you guys at all, do me a favor, please. Don't just like it. Don't just subscribe. Although, again, please do that too. Send this to somebody. Send this to somebody that's so far in the trenches of ignorance with ChatGPT or Grok that they need a wake-up call to understand that these people are not on your side. Your boy who just got laid off, right? Your friend who's using ChatGPT for everything and doesn't realize what they're giving away. You know who that person is, right? That thinks everything that they're coming out with is just amazing. And they're not realizing that for every benefit, there's a cost. Your family member, right? Who thinks AI is just a fad. Send them this episode. Send them the clip of this episode that our amazing clipping team at Altura is cutting up for us. You guys can do that too and get paid. And let these people decide for themselves. This is the Ascended Podcast. I'm not here to tell you what to think. I'm just here. I'm here to show you, more importantly, what they don't want you to see. Because I think we all know the war that we're in, the true war that we're in. We ascend together. We win together. I'll see you guys on the next one.